Gee, I'm a right brick, me.
To start off with doing a brick wall, we need to make sure we know our sizes for each brick individually, and we're going to carve each brick in individually. So we go by the size of a brick, which is about 5 millimeters. We start marking each 5 millimeters. And we keep going along till you get a good 5 there. Then I'll go up just a row about 2 mil high, and then we'll start putting a line in. Oh, forget it.
Yep, that's right, sod that. Use this Dutch Bricks Roller from Green Stuff World. This beautiful tool has been hand carved by angels using mathematics that not even any brain of the brainiest mathematicians in the world would ever be able to work out. So as you can imagine, it's a very special tool. If we just take it out the holder, you can see the detail. Look at that detail. Beautiful bricks, some broke, some nice and solid, made to make this look so fantastic and real. It's going to blow your freaking mind, man. So without taking too much time to explain how amazing this tool is, we're going to just crack on and show you exactly how it works. Right, now we're going to be pressing this into foam, and we're going to be pressing it quite hard. You need to press it quite hard into a cut surface that's been used, cut by a hot wire device. Now pressing it really hard and rolling it in, making sure that you're pressing nice and hard and rolling slowly. You can see the pattern start to appear. Now you need to make sure that you're rolling it straight as to get the bricks nice and straight. Also, if you want to do the ends, you can see there, look, there's the detail. It's quite smashing, very smashing. Quite find that really like amazing how detailed it is. You can see all there, like you got some parts where the bricks are kind of like broken out, which looks really good, especially when you'll see it painted. It gives it such a realistic feel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the end now, and make sure you're following the bricks, so it looks like it is you know, part of the bricks at the front. As you can see there, look at that, that's really good. And then do the same on the other side, following the bricks on the face, and then pushing nice and hard, watch you don't slip. And there you have it, some pattern there. Now I'm leaving the back and I'm leaving the top and the underneath, as I just want to show you what this is going to look like once I've painted it just on this one surface. Now in this next part I'm going to be painting some watered down PVA onto the surface. Now don't water it down too much, because if you water it down too much, it'll take forever to dry, and you won't get so much of a covering or a sealing of the glue, from the glue I should say. Now, which is why I'm doing this, and the point of doing this is to seal in the foam, because foam is porous. It does soak up paint, so you want to make sure the surface is nice and sealed, and PVA is the best way to do it. So just paint it all on, make sure it's all over every nook and cranny and every little crevice, and we leave it to dry, and that should be sealed nice and ready for painting. So as you can see there, that's fully dry now and ready to start painting onto. I've made sure that it is sealed all through and it is thoroughly dried before you start painting. After it dried, I did a zenithal light spraying of black on, and then on with a grey through the airbrush, using the zenithal approach. so that I could get like the lighter edges on the brick. And then here we are just dry brushing now some of the white. Well, it's kind of an off-white over the bricks to get all that detailing, because we're going to be glazing colours. Now it doesn't matter if you do certain parts lighter than others, because if you do little patches where it seems lighter on there and darker in other areas, that's fine, because what that creates is a natural sort of lighter shade and darker shade to the brick, because bricks are dirty, bricks are they've been marked or whatever, and it gives it a more realistic look anyway. So it doesn't matter if it's not evenly dry brushed as shown here. To paint the bricks, I used these two sets of colours. You've got a German red brown and you've got a orange rust colour. Both are Model Air Vallejo paints. I like these because they're quite thin already and are generally good for like glazing because they're already watered down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these colours together to create a kind of intermediate colour between the two, and then brush it all over the model. Now, using across strokes, I'm going to paint this onto the bricks. Now, what I had noticed there was I hadn't put enough paint, and it was kind of like I was just basically dry brushing it on. So, and I felt that it was a bit too, I don't know, perhaps a bit dark. So I just decided to go with the orange instead. I dabbed this on. I quite laid it on thick. It's already, like I say, it's already watered down, so it's it shows the sort of highlight of the zenithal through the paint. And as you can see, I just carried on brushing and painting it on until it was completely covered, adding touches of water so that because you get like some pale bits. It doesn't matter. It's nice to have that variation of sort of lightly stained and fully stained. So showing that just gives you different sort of variations amongst the bricks, without you having to mess about too much. Now, at this point, I decided that perhaps it was a bit too orange, and I should add in a bit more of the German red brown. So I decided to add that in. Looks a bit mad at the minute, but once it was mixing in with the already wet, well, was still wet orange paint, it kind of made the sort of right colour that I was looking for. So in a very weird way, mixing the two colours together didn't seem to look right, but putting each colour on separately and then sort of washing them both together over a larger area seemed to be more like it would seem to work. So I let this dry a bit, and then after letting it dry, I used this brown, which is German black brown, and I individually painted random bricks to show some of the bricks. In natural brick walls, you get the odd one or two here or there that is a dark brown colour. So it doesn't have to follow any kind of pattern or anything like that. You can, if you look at images of brick walls on Google or wherever, you'll see that they're just in many different like random spots along the wall. You can have them together, you can have them whichever way you want to do, and it will still work, because that's how brick walls are done. You always have those random odd brick that is a different colour. So I continue doing this until I feel there's enough on the brick wall to show enough just random darker coloured ones. And there we have it. As you can see how many of the bricks I did. You don't have to copy this particular amount, it's up to you how many you want to do, but I think a fair few of them did sort of give it that sort of real look. Now at this point I wanted to use an Agrax shade to wash the bricks down and make them look a bit more darker. Now I've gone with a darker look towards the bottom of the brick because what my thinking was, at the bottom of all brick walls is where the main amount of water and damp rises up. So essentially you would have that darker damp look to the bottom of the bricks. So this is why I could sort of emphasise this sort of washing at the bottom of the brick wall. At this point I decided to do another coat, giving it a bit more of a darker appeal, looking more damp and dreary at the bottom. And then I decided to add little damp spots at the top of the wall, like with little streaks going down the wall as if to represent weathering, dripping down the wall. It was important as well to try and smooth these sort of darker water weathered sections by sort of smoothing them out around the edges, made it look a bit more like it was dried in stain. Now we've come to a section now where, after it's all dried in with the stained dark areas, where this part plays an important key role. Now what this is by using a white and some weathering powders. Now that is a Forge World one, which I don't think you can get anymore, but you can get other weathering powders. It's like a cream coloured weathering powder is what you need. And I add that to the white, and what this is going to be is it's going to be the mortar in between all of the bricks. Now this is an integral part to make it look realistic and chalky, as walls generally look like in the real world. So what we do is we keep adding some of this weathering chalk, and basically we're going to water it right down to it's a very watery, milky consistency. So what we do is we put some on onto an area. Now I don't know why I'm trying to wipe it off there, but that was a silly thing for me to do. I don't know what I was thinking there. I think I forgot the process, which is to basically water, when you put your paint on, water it even further down so that you can see the brick starts to appear through, and the creamy, milky paint colour begins to just seep into all the nooks and crannies of the brick pattern. Now you want to get it doesn't matter how watery you go down on this, so it's good to get it as watery as you can possibly get it, while at least keeping the paint in the recesses as shown. I'm just really watering it down and just letting it go in. Now it might take more than one coverage, you might have to do it again, but by doing it again you're going to secure that white stays into the recesses. Doesn't have to be completely everywhere, because you know we were looking for this natural look, but for now we want to get it everywhere and completely covered.
And there you go. As you can see there, that's giving it this very realistic effect now to the wall. Just gotta let this dry. But you can see that the added cream and well, the added white and cream weathered powder mix, once dry, will give it that kind of dusty look. But yeah, look at that, it's really quite realistic. I think that's quite superb for something that was quite as easy as it was. It took half an hour to get that effect. And you can use this wall now. You could use it for any kind of buildings, for games such as bolt action, some housing that you want to do. Because what you could do as well is you could carve into the bricks and make it look like it's been damaged. Look there, I'll put a little miniature of Wolverine, the classical Wolverine, just to show you what that looks like with him against it. And it does give a really good looking sort of feature. And it's an easy process. You saw it for yourself. It can be easily done using the green stuff roller. I highly recommend that. See if you can get them rollers from wherever you buy your hobby stuff. I got mine from Element Games. I ordered them from there, and they work a treat. They really are useful and quick to use. Totally recommend using them. And there you have it, a brick wall. It's an easy process, as you've seen, to get that effect. Anyone can do it. It's really good and really works well. This, being as it is now, is, in my opinion, perfectly fine to use now. It can be left as it is now and used for scenery and whatever, whichever you was making from it, a house, whatever. But one other option is to add that finer detail, which I used the white and the orange that I was painting the brick colouring with, and I did a little mix of those two to give a lighter sort of orangey colour, in order to do a kind of dry brushing. And it's not necessary, but I just wanted to give it that little bit of extra crispness to the brick wall, and it doesn't change it greatly, but it sure does just adds that little bit of extra to it. Right, so just one final touch up, which I felt may be a bit necessary. With the chalking effect that you do, you can kind of leave it a bit milky or a bit too sort of saturated of colour. So what I did then is I just slightly got some of the Reichling Flesh shade, and I basically I thought I could water it down, but that didn't work. But if you do it as like a dry brush, so you get some Reichling Flesh shade on your brush, and you basically smear across the top of the brick and the surface of the brick, trying not to get it into the recesses where you've put your mortar. It kind of brings back the colour of the brick, and it don't matter about going over the brown ones, because all it does is it just sort of dampens them down and brings them out as well. So as you can see there, I did try to do it brick by brick, but then I found that if I just dry brushed it off on my thumb a little bit, and then just brushed across off the top, you start bringing back the colour of the brick, as you can see there. Just gently making sure you've got enough off, and your brush ain't saturated, and just it's like you're just sort of cleaning it to be in
in that sort of like how it looks, it's like you're cleaning the front of the brick, but really you're just applying paint. Just keep doing that, and it brings back the colour of the bricks and crisps up and unsaturates the what the paint in the mortar on has done. So there you go, there's a finished article. It looks really good with the green stuff roller. I really recommend it. Please get one. It's brilliant. It makes this look really good. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's taught you something. I'll leave you now with some images of the brick wall against some of the miniatures I've done. Just a final thing, please subscribe to my channel. I would very much appreciate it, and thanks a lot to all those who do subscribe to my channel. And I'll bid you farewell. Ta-ra! Oh, and look out for the second part to this video where I'll be showing you how I do some graffiti on the wall. Lovely jubbly. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Ooh.